Okay, hello everybody. This is Paul Power, bringing you Robert Nelson and another installment of the book Keys, Love Letters from God. And it is January 6th, 2019. This is number 32.
The title is Fear. This is a biggie. And it, like many of these, I guess like all of them, packs a wallop. But let me put it this way, it's a friendly wallop. It's not a mean wallop. Fear. Let us travel back in time now. There is only light, and it is shining so brightly it cannot be seen. There is no one to perceive it except for the essence of light itself. Suddenly there becomes visible light. There follows a slight rumbling which condenses upon itself. Now there is the feeling of expectancy. A birth is about to take place. Suddenly, pow! Light has expanded to find its own limits. Because no limits exist, the light sets limits upon itself. For in limitation, there seemed to be security. This, my beloved, was the beginning of creation as you know it. From this came the galaxies, dimensions, planets, and worlds. In this manner was creation born. Now, this is symbolic, probably scientifically fairly accurate, maybe extremely accurate, being who it's coming from. It gives you an idea of what we call the beginning of creation. If you go with the Hindu concept, it's the breathing in until there's condensing to the point where there's breathing out back into expression. I think of creation in terms of celebrating itself into being. And, scientifically we can say the Big Bang, and now people think there are a bunch of mini Big Bangs, smaller ones, but whatever the case, it's a process evidently of breathing out or sharing out into being, loving so much that you love creation into being. I'd like to put it that way because I think that's basically what it really is. The creation is my son, and my son, as I have said previously, is my vision of myself. That which I originally created in wholeness began to experience denial of its true self in the seemingly safe haven of separation. In that moment was fear made. False evidence appearing real? Fear is not a creation. It is a false god, the greatest one there is. But even a false god is viewed by a delusional mind as better than maybe a god that might not exist at all. Now think about that. If you thought that maybe there were no such thing, there was no God whatsoever. I'm not talking from the standpoint of atheism. I'm talking about if you thought there was nothing. Perhaps even a false god would look pleasing. And I think that's what he's trying to say about fear. Now this next one is not only boldface, but is capitalized as well. At that moment in which my son felt that I might not even exist, the separation was made. And at that very moment was fear chosen and made in place of me. Me being God. As a result of fear came the reactionary need for false safety of limitation. Fear gives rise to the delusional need for security, which gives rise to the need for the invention of limitation as both shield and shelter. I know the question which follows. How can creation doubt and mistrust the Creator, which it is? The only answer is a simple one. Sometimes unselfish love is suspect. And that is right where we live in our daily lives today. How many times do we see somebody walking down the street and maybe they're looking at us, they may be looking and smiling, and we're wondering, what's wrong with you? What do you want from me? And I hate to put it this way, but some people in today's less compassionate culture will even look at someone smiling at them and say, what do you want, fag? See, they're coming from their own low self-esteem and trying to push that on everyone else they see around them. What I am saying is that my very nature is that of celebration in free will. My very intent is to extend my limitless being and bring all to total fulfillment. As the state of grace, I am. In fact, those words I am, he often does capitalize not only the I, but the A on am. See, God is very simple. When Moses asked for his name, he just said, I am. I talk about using the name of God in vain sometimes. We do it every day and we don't even know we're doing it. I am fed up. I am sick and tired. I am upset. And we're pouring that powerful power of God through His name right into whatever we say after that. If we use something positive, I am enlightened. I am happy. I am joyful. I am strong. I'm clear-minded. Fine. Then we're pouring the power of God into something worthy of us and worthy of those around us. It is my very being, capital B on being, to give, share, and bless into the process of creation all that is and more. Momentarily, there may be, in some cases, a noticing of what seems falsely to be a separation between created and creator. In that moment, a choice must be made. What will be believed? Choose wholeness, and all is both complete and fulfilled. Or choose the seeming separation and the need to return home from which you have never left begins. So if we choose fear based on the concept of separation, which is what fear comes from, then we're setting our feet on a long path. A path that sooner or later, when we're tired of walking it and we see the senselessness of it, will end with us recognize that we never left home in the first place. So we can either accept here and now that we're home, we never left, that we can not only be at home, we are home. We have to be heaven. We have to be home. Or we can set our feet on a long, arduous, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes pretty decent, and sometimes really hellish path that takes us forever to get nowhere until we finally get to that point where we recognize we're going nowhere. And we say, enough of this. I want better. I deserve better. I'm going to have better. I'm going to remember who I am. And then we know we never left home in the first place. We just had a dream that we left home. In such cases, in which belief in the seeming separation is chosen by the created, a need for healing of perception exists. Remember, you do not heal wholeness, you heal perception and refocus it onto wholeness. And through all creation, I am there with my answer to this need wherever and whenever it is perceived. The answer being the sonship. My son exists not only on the good earth, but he exists in all situations across the multiverse in which healing of perception is required. My son, and he puts this in quotes, has walked infinite paths and in infinite worlds, even in realms in which the created has reached a level of potential fulfillment. I offer my son as an invitation to my total being without limitations of any kind. In my universe, the concept of the created reaching total fulfillment as the creator is a new vision. I'm sorry, people, I've got to reread that because I botched it, and I'm sorry. Sometimes I think I try to read ahead of myself. I used to get fussed at by my grandmother when I was visiting her when I was a kid and I was talking. She would say I talk too fast, and it was usually because I was thinking multiple sentences ahead of whatever I was saying at the time. In many universes, the concept of the created reaching a total fulfillment as the creator is a new vision altogether. This is what I offer, for this is all that I am. This next one is capitalized boldface print. My son is the shepherd calling to that memory of my being in all the created. I like the way he puts his words are amazing. The sonship is the result of that calling being answered as it is chosen. Denial of one's true identity makes fear, which in turn feeds itself by making more denial. A vicious cycle time. It is a vicious cycle, but this cycle can be broken, as he's indicated, as he said before in other letters. The only way to do this is as you remember who you are, me. And the way to do that is as you help one another to do likewise. As you share the relationship with your brother and sister, you experience me, and the separation is retired. Notice he doesn't say it's overcome. Nothing in Keys is on a war footing. If you're looking for that, look somewhere else. If you want examples of war footing, and I'm probably going to get fussed at for saying this, read the Bible. But in Keys, there's nothing based on a war footing. So the separation is just retired. Give it its gold watch, show it the door, tell it not to let the door hit it in the ass on its way out. Okay. Wholeness is fulfilled as you recognize our innocence in your brother and sister's eyes. This is the end of the separation and the death of the false god fear. There is only one God, and me you have eternally. For me, you are. And this next one's not only bold-faced, capitalized as well. As you come to know this, the kingdom is extended, which was and is my original intention, as this is our true nature. With this realization comes the end to the need for guilt, which is a tool of the fear-ridden ego. Though you made the ego, our inherent nature within you designed it as a learning tool to remember your true self even through adversity. So even the egos, we've said before, don't make an enemy of it, or you make it stronger. Understand it for what it is. It's a learning tool. won through adversity, which when we get tired of it, we say, all right, ego, enough, shut up. Just, you can be there, but go sit in the corner, put your thumb in your mouth if you have to, whatever. But I'm living my life, you're not living it, and I want something better. I want to be who I really am. I want to be God. I want to be love incarnated. And at that point, the ego's sitting back there going like that, because there's not much else it can do. Though it will make attempts. And when it does, laugh with it. Don't laugh at it. Don't fight it. Laugh with it and retire it each time. Sooner or later, it'll get the message. The nature of fear, on the other hand, is that of the great lie. And he put that in boldface type, the great lie. For the false god of fear offers you a message that would have you believe that you are less than me, that you are less than God. This is false. As such, it is false evidence appearing real, F-E-A-R. You are most certainly free not to believe such self-imposed nonsense, S-I-N. Fear and sin go hand in hand. Fear gives rise to the delusional and often repetitive behavior of sin, self-imposed nonsense. What I am showing you is that you are the creator, even as am I. You can make whole worlds and lives, or you can create heaven, which is your birthright, born in wholeness. When I speak of our fuel, I am referring to our power to create and sustain and bless our creations. Choose wisely, my beloved, that which you would create. And I'm going to add to that, because sometimes it can come back and bite you in the ass. The ego offers unlimited possibilities for fulfillment which do not work. Liken it to a fish when caught on a hook. The more it struggles to get free, the deeper the hook becomes embedded. Oof. Life with the ego is the same way. After one ego-based method for freedom fails, you either give more fuel attention, in other words, to said method, or you look for still more complicated ego-based ways to gain freedom. As each method fails to bring the desired result, you are given a worsening view of yourself. Now this I find to be very interesting, because you see, after we botch up a number of times, we tend not to even believe in ourselves. We tend to doubt ourselves. This is about as deep and bad as that vicious cycle can ever get. This prompts either more failure-prone attempts. This is what I mean by the term sin, self-imposed nonsense. Or it prompts you to decide to look for a way, a method to freedom which does work. In which case you begin to choose the vision of wholeness which I offer constantly. In the same vision I have referred you to, it is the same vision I have offered you since creation began, and it is as new and fresh now as it was then. To lay fear aside, start by remembering that you and I are one and the same, even as I am your brother and sister. Very much back to that final commandment. Fear not, for I bring you great tidings of wholeness, God. I think that point that he made about getting to the point where if we try so many methods that might not work, that we even would doubt ourselves. That's when fear really becomes our God. Temporarily. that's when the ego is sitting back, clapping its hands and going, actually probably going more like, like that evil laugh. But this happens as long as we give it power to continue happening, until we get fed up with these methods that don't work and we turn for something that does work. And you know, it's not like God is saying, look, you better take my offer while it's still here, because if you don't, then it might not be here one of these days. No, he's not saying that ever at all. He's saying his offer is constant and eternal. So when we're ready, in a time of our choosing, we will say, what I've been doing just damn sure doesn't work. And it's okay, I botched up and that's all right. I'm going to do something better that I deserve better. And we're going to be free when we do that. We're going to start being free. It's not going to be all of a sudden, it's going to be bit by bit. That's it.